Hey, GAT Math students, this is video notes for data probability and stats basics, objectives 113 to 115. So the first section in your packet. So if you don't have your packet out, grab your packet. It's one that that looks like this. I'm posting this on pickup day, so if you haven't picked this up yet, this will be coming in your folder today, but many of you will probably be watching this after you've picked it up. So turn inside the first page. If you don't have this, hit pause, go grab it. Then we'll be starting right here. We're going to be kind of going back and forth through pages quite a bit in this one because I want to do problems in certain order. But if you look at what we're going to be looking at, means, median, modes, and ranges, and then apply central tendency. What central tendency is what they kind of grouping up these mean, median, modes, and ranges. So when they talk about central tendency, that's what they're talking about, mean, medians, and modes. And then another type of central tendency where we're finding some missing data. So there's kind of a mix of some easy problems in here, and then some ones that are a little more difficult, and then maybe some that are just a little confusing. But again, when you get to a test, get the easy ones right. Take your time, make sure you do them right, and then try your best on the other ones. I'm actually, to find a little area to do some notes here quick, you're going to go to the last section of, or last page of this section, which has one problem on it, 18, and then there's some room here. So we're going to take some notes here. Again, the very last page of the section would be here, which would have the answers. I'll talk about that in a second. But what we're going to start out with is go here, and we're going to take some notes, just reviewing what some of these words mean. The first thing we're going to look at is the mean. And that's basically what most people would consider the average. And what you're going to do is you're going to add all the data and divide by the number of data you have. Or there is. Okay, so again, if you're having the past, I don't have the best handwriting, but it's even worse when I'm using this thing on the computer. So if you can't read something, rewind a little bit and listen to what I've said. I'll read it all. One little quick example. If we had the data 3, 7, 4, and 10, and we wanted to find the mean, okay, little arrow, I'm going to add these up. You're not always going to have to write this out. You could, use your calculator to add them up and then show the step after this and divide by how many there are. There are 4 numbers in this list, okay? So when I add that up, that equals 24. Divide by 4. The mean, or what many people consider the average, is 6. Okay? So that's how you find the mean. Next type of central tendency we're going to find is the median. Okay? This is basically the middle or central number. Again, this is the number sign of your data. Okay, so there's some steps to do here. First step, put data in order from least to greatest. I guess it could go greatest to least, but it's generally, we're always going to put it least to greatest. Okay. Then, if there is an odd number of data, the middle number, oops, let's do middle number, is your median. So odd number of data would be like if you had a list of 5 numbers or you had a list of 9 numbers. Okay, so an odd number of data. There's one extra step if you have an even number. So if there is an even number of data, find the average of the middle 2 numbers. Okay, and I'll do just 2 little quick examples here for this one. So example 1, if we had a list and we had the numbers 3, 6, 2, 9, and 4. First thing we do, put them in order. So we'd have 2, 3, 4, 6, and 9. Okay, then we count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 numbers. So we want to find the middle one. It looks like the middle number is 4. Make sure there's 2 before it, there's 2 after it. Yes, that's the middle number. So the median equals 4. Okay. So let's do another example. And instead of doing a whole new problem, let's just say we had the same group, but then we also threw on the number 11. So we'd have the same order, and 11 is bigger than all these, so we just throw it on the end. Okay. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So we have to find the middle 2 numbers. So the middle 2 numbers, okay, usually if there's 6, if you take half of that and just count out 1, 2, 3, and then the other way 1, 2, 3, those should give you the middle 2 numbers. And we have to find the average of those, meaning we add them up and divide by 2. Whoops. Erase that. Okay, so plus 6 and divide by 2 because there's 2 middle numbers. That would give you 10. 10 divided by 2, that is our median. Okay. The next one. Mode. Generally, this is probably the easiest one to find. It's the number that appears most often in your data. Okay, so let's just look at a couple examples. So if we had this is our data. the mode, if you look, there's 2 9s, but just make sure you see there are 3 11s. So our mode would be 11. It's possible. Let's say we had this list. Unlike mean or median, it's possible to have 2 modes. So the mode here, we have 4 appears twice and 7 appears twice. So it'd be 4 and 7. It's also, unlike the other ones, possible to have no mode. We have this list. There's no number that appears more than once. So the mode would be none. Okay. And the last one, range. Last one we're going to look at in this section anyways. You just want to cover the range that is covered in the data. You're just going to take biggest minus smallest. So if you've already found median, then it's easy because you have them in order, but let's just say you didn't. You could put them in order, but let's say you just had a list. And this was our list. You just got to look through. Now, if you only had to find the range, I wouldn't say you need to put them in order. Just look and find the biggest, which is 14, minus the smallest, which is 2, and 12 is our range. Okay. Those are our notes. Throughout this the data probability and stats, we're going to have some really short sections and some longer ones. So this one's probably going to be a little longer. Okay. We're going to do some problems now. We're going to be kind of flipping all over. So we're going to go on page 3 here. We're going to look at number 9. Okay. So this one is just going to be a summary of what we did. Okay. So it says the number of patients treated in dental office each day was recorded for 10 days. Find the mean, median, and the mode for this data. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put them in order. So as you go, you might want to cross them out. Okay. 12 was there. 17, and this is what takes a little long with these. They're not necessarily hard. There's a couple of 26s. You gotta kind of double check as you go just to make sure you got everything in order. Oh, you know what? I missed one of the 26s, so let me go. There's 3 26s. Then the 27. So that's what I mean, but you gotta pay attention there. And then there's a 28. And then check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 there. So we have them in order. So the first thing, let's find the mean. So take your calculator. I'm not going to waste a lot of time here, but if I added these all up, and I've already done this, they add up to 210. So you could double check that if you want, just to make sure you know how to do this. And then there was 10 numbers here, so I divide. So my mean is going to be 21. Okay. If I was doing multiple choice here, now I know my answer. If I know I did that right, I'm looking at these 2 answers. But let's just do all 3 of these first and then look for the answer afterwards. So there's 10 numbers, so that's an even number. So we want to find the two middle numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I'm counting to 5 because half of 10. So this would be one of them right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the other middle number. So 25 and 26. Some of you might be able to look at that and know what the answer is. Otherwise, you add them up, divide by 2. So add them up is 51, divided by 2. That gives you 25.5. Now, technically, we have a mean of 21, median of 25. If we're confident in that, we could circle B right here. Because 21, 25.5. But we could just double check and make sure, okay, it's saying if I'm picking this answer, my mode should be 26. And that means that should appear more than all the other numbers. And 26 is 1, 2, 3 times. So yes, the mode is 26. Okay, so that's the first type of problem, just finding mean, median, and mode. Okay. Next type of problem, we're going to turn back, go to page 2. This should be a quick problem. It looks like it could be a long problem because there's a lot of numbers here, but it's giving you some data. It's a list of the number of tickets each member sold during the first month of a sale. Just says find the range. So I just got to double check, make sure you look. Remember, range was biggest minus smallest. So if I look through all these numbers, there's a 27 and 27. You don't need to do nothing with them twice, but the biggest number is a 27. Okay, and you look through these numbers, and right here jumps out. Smallest number is a 1. So the range is 26. There's your answer. Okay. So again, see, some of these are easy problems. Next problem, we'll turn back the page. Problem number 3. This one can be tricky, but it shouldn't be hard. Understanding what it's asking is the tricky part. It says for the first 3 sets of numbers below, the value of x represents the same type of measure of central tendency. Find the value of x for the 4th set of numbers. So what it means is, so we got these numbers here, and somehow they figured out x is 25. For this group, it's 24. For this group, it's 22, and we want to find this one. So what to look for? So what this means is this number is either the mean, median, or mode of this group. And then whatever that is, it's the same for these other 2. So if this was the mode, this would be the mode, this would be the mode, or median, 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 or mean, mean, mean. Okay? So what you should do is, the easiest one to see if it is check to see if it's the mode. Okay, so like here, 22, 22, 22. Yep, that's 22. But it has to make sense for these other 2. There is no 24 in this list, so this can't be the mode. Okay, likewise here, there is no mode. 25 occurs once, but so do other numbers. So if it's not that, we go to the next one on the list. We're going to check the median. So we'll do that in a second. If it's not that, the last thing we would do, and the one that takes the longest, would be check the mean, because you'd have to add them up and divide by how many. So let's check for the median. So this one, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. The middle one is 22. So far it works. Check. This one, I'm going to this one because it's easier, because there's 5 numbers. So let's check the middle. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the middle number. That's the median. Check. So it's looking like it's going to be median, but let's double check. This has 6 numbers. So there's 2 middle numbers here. Okay. So if we're going to do that, we got to add them up. Divide by 2. So that's 48. Divide by 2. That's 24. Yes, that is the median. So check. So now what they want us to do is, because we figured out it is the median, okay, so it is the median, we want to find the median here. So there's 6 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. These are the 2 middle numbers. So then we need to add them up. Divide by 2. This equals 44. Divide by 2. And we get 22 as our answer. Okay. All right. Next problem. We'll go to number 1. I'll talk about this in a second. Let's read the problem first. It says, name any outliers in the data. If there are outliers, find the median when outliers are included, and again when they are not included. If there are no outliers, find the median of the data as is. So an outlier means like a number in the data that it looks either way lower or way bigger than the rest of the data. Now there is a technical way to define an outlier, but for the problems you're going to see, you're going to be able to just look at it and know if it's an outlier. So we won't get into the technical term for an outlier at this point. So the first thing, and this is where some of these problems get long, we have to put them in order. So to save a little time, I've done this already. I won't go through and cross them all out. But that's what you should do when you're doing this, is take the time as you write them down and find them. You got to cross them out. Make sure you have all the numbers. And a couple 59s. $62. And then 101. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 numbers right now. Okay, then what we need to do is kind of look at it and think if there is an outlier. And I would say all these are in the 50s and 60s, and then we have one that's at 101. So I would say, yes, there is an outlier. Okay, so I would cross off D where it says there are no outliers. I just don't think that's right. I think that 101 looks like an outlier. So what we need to do is find the median with this number in there and then find the median without it. So I counted out 12 numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the two middle numbers. Okay. So the two middle numbers, you should be able to look at that and figure out, okay, the median's 59. Again, if you didn't look at that, you should be able to figure out, you got two middle numbers. It's going to be 118 divided by 2 is 59. So with the outlier in there, we have a median of 59. Okay. Now, since it's multiple choice, the only one that says median with outlier 59 is A. So this probably should be the answer. Well, let's double check if when we don't, or when you take out the outlier, that means, let's pretend now this is gone. And I'm just going to kind of do a dotted checkout because you do want it when you're first copying it there. So now we'd have 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the middle number would now be 59. So the median without the outlier is still 59. So yes, that is our answer. So kind of a weird problem, but it's really not too difficult. The biggest thing is just the time it takes to put them in order. Okay. Next one, number 2. Again, if you're getting a little bored or whatever right now, hit pause, take a break, come back to it. Okay. So you weigh 6 packages and find the weights listed. If you include a package that weighs 46, which will increase more, the median or the mean? Okay. So first thing we got to do is put the original in order. So we have 22, 24, 26, 38, 40, and 42. okay? And we are going to find the mean and median of those. And then we're going to do it when we add another number to it. So mean, again, I'm just going to save some time. You take your calculator, add these all up. It adds up to 192. And you divide by, whoops, wrong number there. You divide by how many numbers there are, which are there 6. And so the mean comes out to be 32. The median, since there's 6, you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So the two middle numbers are 26 and 38. So you got to find the average of that. So you're going to go 26 plus 38 divided by 2, which is 64. Divided by 2. So the mean and median are both 32. So now we have to add another number to it. They're saying if you threw a 46 on the end, now what happens? Okay, so the mean, you add them up, it was 92, you add another 46 onto there, so that's 238. And now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. So that comes out to be 34. So it went up 2. Mean went from 32 to 34. Now let's look at the median. Well, the median's easier to find now. You have 7 numbers. So you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There's the median. So the mean went up 2, the median went up 6, the median increases more. Okay. All right. So we're going to turn page a few. I'm going to go to 8. It says Coach Simmons has 3 teams of golfers, one with 7 players, one with 6 players, one with 8 players. If you switch the players so that the same number on each team, how many players would be on each team? So basically he's just saying, I got 3 teams, I want to keep 3 teams, but I want the same number of players and all. So what you're going to do is you're just going to add up all the players, figure out how many players there are, and you're going to split them up into 3 teams. So 7 plus 6 is 13, plus 8 is 21. You want them on, there's 21 people, you want them on 3 teams, you divide 7. Okay. So again, some of these problems are long and maybe more confusing. Some of them are very short. Okay, so take advantage of those short ones. Okay. Let's go to number 7, or the 7th problem, which is going to be number 12. So this is a little tricky one because sometimes they don't give you all the information here, but you can still find the answer. So it says the graph below represents a distribution of scores on a placement test for students at Central High School. Select the statement that is true about the distribution of scores. Okay, so the scores, this says frequency, number of students attaining the indicated score. Now they don't tell us, like, is this 10 students? Is this, and this would be 9, 8, 2, what? It doesn't say. The bottom is the scores. So some people scored 7, some 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now, the one thing we can know for sure, the mode is the number that occurs most often. Well, we don't know how high this number is because they don't show us over here, but the highest one is a score of 1. So the mode is 1. Okay. The median, there's a lot in the 1, 2, and 3. And so my guess is the median is going to be somewhere over in this area. Okay. It's probably in the 1, 2, 3 range. And then the mean, again, would be kind of closer to that. But let's look at these choices and see. It says the median and the mode are the same. Well, the mode is going to be 1. We know that. That's the highest one. Well, the median is going to be pushed at least somewhat greater than 1. It could be 2, it could be 3. Even if it's 1 point something, it's still bigger than 1. So that one's not going to be true. The median is less than the mode. Well, you can't get less than the mode. The mode is 1. The median is greater than the mode. We kind of said that already. The median, if we listed all these numbers, there's going to be a bunch of 1s, almost as many 2s, getting close to as many 3s, and a few 4s, 5s, 6s, and 7s. So the median is going to be pushed a little to the right of 1. So the median is going to be greater than 1, and the 1 is the mode. So my guess right now is this, but let's make sure we look at D. The mean and the mode are the same. Well, again, the mode is 1, and then the mean has got to be higher than that. The average of all these has got to be somewhat higher than 1, so that they're not going to be the same. So that's why this problem can be tricky. Okay, do the best you can on it. There's another problem like this in the practice problems. If you're not making sense, ask me a question about it. Okay, getting closer to the end now. We have a few more problems to do. I'm going to go back to problem number 6. Okay. A group of 4 items has a mean of 52. What would the 5th item have to be in order to produce a mean of 47? So what this is saying is like you have 4 test scores or something like that, and right now your average is 52, or maybe this could even be something. Maybe you have a job and you're trying to sell things, and right now you're averaging selling 52 a day, and you get a big bonus if you sell 47 a day. So you need to keep your mean above 47, and you're saying, what could I get on this 5th day and still get my bonus? Okay, so basically what that means is when there was 4 items, you're adding up 4 numbers, dividing by 4, and it has to equal 52. So first of all, let's figure out, what do all these add up to? Okay, and we don't need to know the exact numbers, but at this point, if they're averaging 52, there's 2 ways you could look at this. It doesn't matter what they are, but if they're averaging 52, it could be 52, 52, 52, 52. Or if you thought of an algebra type way and you said, okay, I need to get rid of dividing by 4. I need to multiply each side by 4. So 52 times 4 is 208. So right now, you have a sum that equals 208. Okay, now you're going to take that, you're going to add on one more score. We don't know what it is. And we want that mean to be 47. Now, if these were the first 4 and you're going to add another score, that means there's 5 that you're dealing with now. Okay, now this can be a little tricky problem. If this is hard, that's okay. Just copy the notes and you'll try another one and see how you do. Okay, so now we got to figure out, okay, I got to add something else here so that when I add it and divide by 5, I get 47. So you could do guess and check with these, just put 27 in there, see if it works. Put 31 in there, see if it works. You could do that. Otherwise, it kind of goes back to the algebra type thing, meaning, what do I need this to add up to so when I divide by 5 it equals 47? So you do the opposite and you multiply by 5. These 5s cancel out, so 208 plus something. If I take 47 times 5, that's 235. So some of you might be able to look at this and figure it out. Otherwise, the way you find a missing spot is you do the opposite of what's being done to it. So we're adding 208 from it. So we're going to subtract 208 from each side. And we're going to get this blank. It's going to equal 27. Now, again, you could do, worst comes to worst, you can do guess and check. This is a multiple choice test. It's going to, if you understand this, it's going to be faster to do it this way, but you could guess and check. Okay. All right, so let's find the next one to do. We're almost done. We got 2 or 3 more here. The next one's going to be very similar. We're going to look at number 7. So Catherine scored 149 and 189 on her first 2 bowling games. What score will she have to achieve on her 3rd game to have an average of 194? So we got 149 and 189 and something. And if there's going to be 3 games, we got to divide that by 3, and we want that equal 194. So first thing you should look at is think, well, both of these are under 194, so this one's got to be over 194 to get there. Okay, so that can cross off this. Okay, so the next thing, it's kind of like what we just did on the last page. Okay, to find out what the sum has to be, let's multiply each side and get rid of this division. So these 3's cancel out, so we'd have 149 plus 189 plus something equals, and we need to, if we multiply this side by 3, we need to multiply this side by 3, and that's going to equal 582. Okay, so I'm going to do one more step before I kind of really try to figure this out. Let's add these 2 together and figure out, well, what do I have total right now? So if I add those together, it's 338 plus my 3rd score has to equal 582. I'm going to figure that out. I'm going to subtract 338. So this missing score, and you subtract there, it's a pretty high score, 244. Again, you could have just, this could take longer, but if you just set this up, the 149 plus 189 plus a blank divided by 3 equals 194, you could start plugging these numbers in and seeing what works. Okay, add all 3 of them up, divide by 3, does it equal 194? Nope. Go to the next one and so on. Okay, it looks like we got 2 left. This number 10 is going to be like number 6. Let's go to number 11. It says, which number or set of numbers would produce a median of 65 when included in the following data? So it says you're going to start out with this data. We're going to put that in order. So we got a 32, we got a 44, we got a 52, we got a 54, 65, and 74. So it's 6 numbers. So right now, the median, we go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If we look, it's the average of this. Now, even if we don't know exactly what that is, you probably can look at this. The average of 52 and 54 is 53. Okay. Even if you didn't know exactly, it's going to be in the 50s. And so this answer's out. It's saying 65 is already median. That's not true. Okay. If we want 65 to be the median, so right here, okay, you can just do this without actually computing any math. You just, median is the middle number. We want this to be the middle. We have 4 numbers before it. That means we need 4 numbers after it. We got 1 here, we need a 2, we need a 3, and we need, okay. So for this to be in the middle, we have 4 here, we need 4 above. We have 3 missing spots. Now they don't have to technically be above 74. We just need to keep 65 in the middle. So we need to have these be 65 or above. Even if they're all 65, we'd have 65, and 65, 65, 65, 74. So we just need 3 numbers that are 65 or bigger. Okay. This would only, one of them's less than 65 and one of them's more. It doesn't even give us 3 numbers. This gives us 4 numbers, but 2 of them are smaller and 2 of them are over. That doesn't change anything where the middle is right now. So here, if we put these numbers above, well, they wouldn't be necessarily in order, but they'd all still be above 65, and that would give us our median. All right, I think we got one more to do, which is not going to be a long one. Number 15 says Alicia averaged 21 points per game last season and was the leading scorer in the basketball team. This year, she's already scored 119 points in 6 games. Which equation can be used to find P, the number of points she must score in the 7th game to tie her average from last year? So she still wants an average of 21. So we need to add up all her games that are going to be 7 games. She's already scored this many. We got to add one more score to that, and we want an average of 21. So the big key here is don't just see this and say, oh, that's a 6 right there. That's what she's already scored. Then she's going to score something in a 7th game. So we have to divide by 7. And there's our answer. Okay. So this is a long one. Go to the, just to help you out here, if you go to this page, remember this has the answers. So I'm going to circle which problems we did that I copied, or that I did, and then you're supposed to copy. And a lot of times we won't do this many, but there's a lot of different types of problems in this one. So this will probably be our longest section of notes for this session. Okay. So what this does is helps show you, like, they're grouped up in the section. So these type of problems, we've done these 3. So if you're having problems with 5, 13, or 14, look at these other 3 first and see if they're similar. And then if you can get the answer, great. If you're still not getting the correct answer, then that's when you have to ask me, okay, for help, and I'll either do a chat with you, do another video, something like that. Okay, so same here. If you're having problems with 12 or 18, look at one of these other ones. If you're having problems with 10 or 16, look at one of these other ones. Okay, now you don't have to do these other problems, but they could help in order to do the test. Okay, so if you have any, make sure you copy those all down. After you've copied them down, send a picture to me, and you get notes for that. And that's a big part of your grade. It's 40% of your grade. So if you have any questions, let me know.